Hey, Virgo, Mel, intuitive coach here, excited to bring in your May 2025 monthly reading. If you're interested in a personal reading, signing up for the monthly newsletter, or entering into the free reading giveaway, you can find all of that information in the description box below the video. All right, wow, you have some major energies showing up in the month of May. Excuse me, some of you are gaining clarity around your next steps. You're committing here to a new path because this is kind of heavy, but the fact that I'm seeing the 3 of Swords at the bottom of the deck here and the 10 of Swords, suffering is the word that comes to mind here. You've been suffering. You've been sitting and festering in something here, some sort of loss or grief or health issues, pain for some of you. I mean, suffering is going to look different for each and every one of you, but the outcome here is the 6 of Swords and the Ace of Pentacles. There's the start of a new life here. This is a big, big month, and I feel like divine timing is at play. Timing is actually one of your key themes for the month of May, Virgo. You've been in a little bit of a waiting period, if you will. I'm getting Hanged Man energy, like TikTok, waiting for something to change. You've been trying to initiate change, but it feels like every time you move forward, you hit a bit of a dead end. And that's your archetypal energy here, is the dead end. So this tells me that you are coming face to face with change. And I feel like this change is good that's coming up for you, even though it may still feel a little bit sticky and you're not quite sure because it looks a bit muddied here if you look at the dead end. But I actually feel like the only way to get to the other side is straight through. And divine timing has been a factor, but your patience, your planning, will bear results. I feel like you are finally starting to see momentum or movement towards an aspiration or towards a dream or towards something you've wanted to manifest here in your world. And why? Why now? Because there could be resources or helpful people. You have soul tribe here, and this certainly can be in the physical sense. You may have friends or family that are helping you, supporting you. Maybe this is even a therapist or a coach, a mentor, a healer. But I also see with the soul tribe, this is your spiritual tribe, your ancestors, your loved ones in spirit, and your spirit guides as well. And a lot of you have been wanting to connect. And I feel like the message here for you is saying, we've heard you. We are helping you, even though you can't physically see the shifts quite yet. You're about to. This is big. We have the Hierophant and the Hermit showing up together with the Ace of Swords. So this tells me that the path is clear. It's being made clear, opening up after some murky energies. Now, Soul Tribe is also about you making space for new relationship dynamics to play out. All right. For others of you, I feel like you've been reevaluating who should stay at your table, so to speak. Meaning if there are people around you who drain your energy or they're not supportive, or maybe there's some empty seats and you want to bring some new people in. You would love to meet a new friend or a new partner. I feel like this is the time for you to take action and really listen to your intuition. You could meet some I'm getting gypsy souls. You may meet some gypsy souls. This could even be like during travel. It could even be a wanderer, as in someone comes to town and maybe they've never gone to a certain place and you both end up there. It wouldn't surprise me to see, Virgo, synchronistic meetings taking place for you in the month of May. Now I'm also getting here P. P as in maybe Paul or Paula or Polly could be significant here. Yeah, this is about connections, maybe even networking and opening yourself up to new energies and maybe even strengthening existing ones. You are meant to be on the shared journey with others. And if you felt like you've been isolating in some sense, all right, with the Hermit here, I feel like you may have needed to go into that reflective period, but now's the time for you to come out of hibernation, if you will. There was a lot going on during that hibernation. Don't get me wrong. You were dreaming, you were healing, you were recovering, you were planning, you were maybe even grieving. But I see now with the action card and Soul Tribe, perhaps the best path forward isn't the path of isolation or loneliness, because I feel like there's energies that want to be a part of your life, and you may be committing to this new path here. Now you also have action. Well, a lot of you are taking action with the Six of Swords and the Ace of Pentacles. You're laying down some roots. You're committing to a new path here. You may even be moving, departing, perhaps buying or selling a home. You could even be landing a new job that takes you elsewhere. You know, Virgo, I'm getting a message. This may not resonate with everyone, but the message is your future self anyway, may be guiding you to leave the country or leave the area that you thought you were going to call home. But I actually feel like you spread your wings elsewhere. Now, it may not be, of course, in the month of May, but if this has been an intuitive nudge that you've been feeling, don't be surprised if you end up in a different location than maybe you had originally thought. I'm also seeing here that someone has a very, 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 very close bestie. All right. This could be a girlfriend, a guy friend, a girl guy friend. I feel like there's someone very, very close to you that has some ideas. Like they have some ideas of maybe collaborating or connecting or going in on a project or maybe going in on a home or something of that nature. I mean, best friend, of course, could be romantic, but I feel like this is more of a partnership, more of a collaboration of sorts where the both of you could travel together even. You have Wanderlust at the bottom of the deck. So this could be partnering up with other individuals, potentially at a distance. Maybe that's the other country vibe. So you may be guided to connect with individuals all across the globe. All right. Or you may be called to travel internationally. This is about, and it says here, Gypsy Soul, beautiful. So this is about backpacking, vacationing, new lands. And I feel like it's you stepping out of your comfort zone. And that Six of Swords here tells me you're moving on. You're moving on from a bad situation where there were old beliefs, or you may have been clinging at times, or someone was clinging here. It may not have been you. It could have been, but someone may have been clinging to how something was done in the past. But I feel like you are up and out of here. You're saying, all right, I am mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, and financially ready to take this leap. But it's taken a long time to get there. All right, what's coming in for the tarot? We have the Wisdom Keeper. This is the Hierophant. He is the higher power, the teacher, the mentor. He's also full of wisdom. He's full of traditions. I'm getting an indigenous type of energy here. Some of you have like Navajo or Cherokee guides, or it's part of your heritage in some way. You may be visiting a sacred land. Some of you may be creating a sacred space through like a nonprofit, or it could be communal living or eco-village of some sort. Wow, this is intense. I love it. Virgo, if you're creating something like that, invite me. I would love to come. So something where you bring people together, and I feel like this is a dream. But you may find now that you have like the resources or the funding or the support of other tribe. Because typically the Hierophant can also be societal norms, societal standards, what we're taught, educational systems and governing factors, things of that nature. But I feel like this is you wanting to create your own in a sense, right? You're wanting to create a community of tribe, and you've been planning this out, or you've been patiently waiting for things to mold into the way that they're meant to, trusting the universe. And maybe this has been a single dream of yours with the Hermit, but I feel like you get to commit to this new path. And if this has to do with love, maybe this best friend that I'm picking up on is a romantic partnership. You could actually meet them in a group of friends. And if you've been walking a solo path, there could be a high level commitment that shows up. I'm getting like 3 months. So it could even be something that, you know, after 3 months, you know that this is your forever person. And I know that doesn't always work in that way, but sometimes it does. So there's something here about commitment right after feeling like, well, maybe I'm meant to walk this solitude path. So some sort of commitment is coming in here for you. But it looks really clear. It looks like you're not muddied in that fog. It feels like the way forward, there's a new sense of understanding. There's a new action plan here. And I feel like if there are any barriers, it feels like they're not as challenging or difficult as where you've been. I'll tell you that. Not with that Ten of Swords. It's like you're able to see through the tears. You're able to see from a higher ground or a higher perspective. And some of you, there's been a loss of a loved one with the coffin card. And I feel like I'm getting, thank you, Spirit, Tears in Heaven, Eric Clapton. And there's the tears that are watering the seeds to this Ace of Pentacles. You have a loved one in spirit that is guiding you, that is here to help you water the seeds. Even though there are tears, I definitely feel like you're not alone. And that's that soul tribe energy. Whew, Virgo, this has a, I don't want to say a heaviness, but it almost feels like that breath that you didn't even realize you were holding until you let it out. And you're like, wow, I feel a lot lighter. And maybe it's because you've been sitting in it for quite some time that you didn't realize that it was weighing heavily upon you. But the Ten of Swords is saying the worst is behind you. You've hit a rock bottom in a way, whatever that may mean for you. I feel maybe mentally it's like you've been in a little bit of a funk, but now it's like the curtain spreads open where that light is coming through. You have a new day, like a new day has dawned. You may even be working with clear quartz. For some of you, when it comes to health, perhaps you've struggled with mental health, depression, anxiety, loneliness. You may even be connecting to a wise elder, a healer, a teacher, a therapist to help you. You may also be the healer, the wise elder, the therapist, the coach, the mentor. Your tears have been watering the seeds for this new growth. And I do see for some of you, it may have to do with healing from a relationship, that Three of Swords and the healing heart here. But you're liberating yourself. Look at that, the Judgment, liberation. There's a spiritual rebirth. There's a second chance here for you to rebirth a part of yourself into the world as this new version of you. Because you're not going to ever be that old Virgo that you were 5 months ago or 5 years ago. You're constantly evolving and healing and shifting and changing and growing. But you may have had to work through some heavy heart stuff here. And maybe even with the heart showing up, pay attention to heart health. Taking a look at like the self-care routines and habits that you have for you. If you have any issues with the heart, of course, get that checked out. But I'm also getting here with the healing heart. This could be toxicity, addictions, and even abuse that you've dealt with. And maybe it's been a lifelong journey for some of you, because some of the people that hurt you were the people that were supposed to be your tribe. They were supposed to be your family in some way. I'm jumping around a bit here, but I feel like there's shifts in all areas. We're going to dive into each area here, but I definitely see that this is an impact that's not just affecting one area of your life. This is many areas. And with this Ace of Pentacles here, some of you are really creating that positive reward for yourself. There's either a new job. This could be new, maybe physical health and well-being. It could be a gift. It may be an inheritance. It's some sort of success. I feel like this is a win. And you see that not only is there growth, but there's a lot of green. And green is also the heart chakra. So there's a lot of love that you are blossoming into. You're activating that heart center. There's something here about a heart chakra activation after a period of deep grief or loneliness. Now, with the Six of Swords as your final outcome here, the Six of Swords is about, again, moving on, but there's a new sense of trust and hope and healing. There's a new journey ahead. You're ready for this, but at the same time, you still carry a bit of a scar, but I feel like that scar is a reminder of where you've been. Now, the scar is fully healed over, where it's not going to get ripped open again, not in the same way it did, okay? Not in the same way that it did. And you understand that now with the Ace of Swords. Let's dive into career, finances, money, and wealth. There may be a job that's ended here for you. If you've come to the reading without a job, there's going to be a new offer coming in that you commit to, okay? A new opportunity will be offered. I feel within the next, even the 6-week mark, okay? Next 6 weeks. There may have been some financial challenges. You may have seen the highs and the lows that were taking place here in the market. You may have had a job, yes, that ended, but I feel like that was a part of your chapter that needed to close. And what's ahead here is actually far greater than what you're leaving behind. There's a saying that says, don't look in your rear view mirror, right? You're not going that way. Look in your windshield, because I feel like the windshield is full of possibility here. And you have some really great shifts and people entering your world. But I do see that there's been plenty of setbacks for you. And maybe because there's been setbacks, it has caused you to not trust that there's going to be an opportunity here. But that's why you have the Six of Swords, hope and renewal, because there's a new journey ahead. It feels at times like you're taking one step forward to take 2 steps back, Virgo. And it says setbacks may be telling you that the next phase wasn't quite ready with the timing. But you have it showing up here now. You have divine timing. You have the 10s and the 1s, the endings and the beginnings. You have wisdom under your belt with the Wisdom Keeper. I also feel for some of you, it could be flipped where you may be leaving the corporate world and going off on your own. So if you feel like you've been in that community aspect and if you've been wanting to go off on your own to do something, I feel like this could be the time. And some of you were doing the same thing over and over, expecting different results, or it just feels like no matter what you tried to shift, it wasn't helping in some way. And that may have caused a lot of stress, a lot of anxiety, especially in that heart center. But look at what you have here. You have the Cup. Now, you also have gossip. People may be talking about you, talking about what you're doing. I also see here that you've had some personal drama for some of you. I mean, this could be drama in the office, drama in the workplace, but you may have had some personal drama that may have gotten in the way with your work. It may have impacted your finances or your ability here to focus. Health may have caused you to maybe take a leave of absence. That's what I'm getting for some of you, like a leave of absence. You may have been dealing with someone who thought that their teachings were the only way to do something, and that didn't sit right with you, okay? And you may have said, there's other opportunities we can grow and expand by bouncing ideas off of each other or bringing our unique talents to the table. But it feels like you may have been dealing with someone here who had a certain way of doing things and it was causing some blockages. It was causing some setbacks. And it may have even been talk, like company talk of cut downs or laying off people or a shutdown here. I do feel like this is on the larger, like grand scheme of things. There's been some gossip, some hearsay, and I feel like you may be getting truth and clarity coming in the month of May. Now, because you have the Cup card, I like to see this because it does tell me that there is prosperity that you're tapping into. Because remember that abundance is always flowing. And yes, at times, external circumstances feel like it kinks the hose of abundance. But this is about you taking care of business, doing what you need to do here in order to feel fulfilled, in order to fill your cup. And I feel like you are a nurturer. You may be someone who takes care of others, a caretaker of some sort here, Virgo. But I feel like your cup, it's been like bottomless, like it's had a hole in it where no matter what you tried to fill in, put in it, it feels like it kept seeping out. But I feel like that is what that heavy energy was. And now you're starting to see that your cup is starting to fill up a little bit more and more each day. So you're coming out of this suffering or this period of grief. And I like it. I like it because where you've been, it doesn't look fun, right? But with the Judgment card, you're looking back and saying, all right, I've come all this way in my journey and I'm going to move forward here and not let the setbacks hold me back any longer. I am going to release judgments, release comparison, because some of you thought you were going to be at a different space in your life than you are. Meaning maybe by the age of 40, you thought you would have a family or you'd be married, or perhaps you thought you would have a business or whatever it was that you thought. Maybe it didn't work out exactly the way that you thought, but Spirit has some other plans over here for you. And I feel like you're trusting in them. You're going with the flow more. You're tapping into the blessings and opportunities that are lining up for you because you certainly have some big ones coming. Now, when it comes to love, there may have been heartbreak due to betrayal, or as I mentioned, toxicity, addictions, or abuse. You may have been dealing with a twin flame here, but there's a difference between toxic and abusive twin flame. That's a false flame. But perhaps some of you thought it was a twin flame here, but it was really a false flame or a karmic. And someone may have been hiding their true feelings. They may have been pretending. I also see here that you could be entering into a union with a partner here. For those of you that have been walking the solo path, I mentioned this earlier, where something may happen quickly, like within 3 months. You meet someone and by the 3rd month, I mean, maybe even sooner than that, but it feels like something moves forward in the physical quickly. This is about you complementing each other. This isn't going to be toxic, right? If this is a twin flame union, yes, there may have been a separation period. You may have gone through a lot of shifts, a lot of changes, but it's not going to be toxic or disrespectful, or there's not going to be, massive addictions here. I feel like this is your counterpart. This is the other half of you. You complement each other in a very big way. For those of you that are calling in a soulmate, it certainly could be a twin flame. I also see with the mask and the healing heart, a lot of you may have gone through a separation, a loss, a divorce, and you may have parted away from this union. But I feel like you are looking back now with crystal clear vision, and you know that this was the best thing for you because it was unhealthy. And in a way, it was holding you back from your fullest potential. And you may even be moving or leaving the town that you were in. I keep getting that departure and the wanderlust. For those of you that may be traveling in the near future, I feel like this trip could be life-changing for you, or this move or relocating. And if this is also in career, I just feel like you could meet someone potentially at work All right. You may meet someone here that is going to be very, very impactful on your journey. But you don't want to just hand your heart out to anyone. I see that. You're being mindful. You've gone through a lot here. You don't want to jump into anything, but when your heart knows, it knows, right? You know when to stay, you know when to leave. Trusting that intuition, but also trusting what is best for you. And a lot of you are liberating yourself from heartache because something was very one-sided with the Six of Pentacles. I'm also getting, you may have been codependent or someone was codependent on you financially with that Six of Pentacles in reverse, but look what you're moving towards. You have the Sun here. You've been asking yourself the questions like, what makes me happy? What is it that truly warms my core? What is going to bring me success? And you're stepping into your confidence here. Leo's energy here of the Sun brings happiness and playfulness and vitality. And for some of you, that has been missing while you were going through that 10 of Swords, 3 of Swords. But I feel like you're laying down some roots that feel more stable than perhaps you felt for a while. All right. Now you have here the dead end. This is big because I feel like you have hit a dead end here with maybe more than one area. I keep feeling that for you. I feel like it's not just one area of your life, although some of you may have a big focus. Maybe you're thinking you've hit a dead end in your career and you're wondering, okay, where do I go from here? What's the next step? But I feel like this is going to impact all areas, as I mentioned. This is the closed door, the final chapter, and the Empaths. Contrary to what its name implies, the dead end is very much alive. It is a force that stops us from moving forward as planned. It is thick, dense, uncompromising. A wall beyond all walls. With every bramble, thorn, and stone, it simply states, no more, child. You have reached the last page of this chapter. It is natural to resist its very resistance and struggle even harder to make our way, to prove our point, to hold on to what was. In this way, we fight with life itself. From a mythic perspective, the end you face is very much a beginning. There are doors opening all around you, just not the one you planned on walking through. If you are honest and courageous enough to accept, adjust, and adapt, the dead end becomes known as life's beginning. I mentioned that earlier, that there was a plan here that maybe didn't work out in the way that you had thought it was, but Spirit has a plan for you. And that's why you have the timing card, right? There's a big beginning. And as I look, you actually have the Death card here as well. And I feel like you've had what's called a wake-up call. That Judgment card is a rebirth. This is your life's purpose. This is part of this next chapter of your life. Not even a chapter. This is a whole new book. When this is showing up as the dark, which I feel like that's where you were, this is inertia, stuckness, tension, unconscious, gripping. Remember what I said about that Six of Swords? I said someone was clinging to old ways or someone was resistant. I mean, it could be you. Or it could be part of your tribe that may have been holding you back in some way, not wanting you to spread your wings. Now, when it shows up as the light, and that's what I'm getting here, because you're departing from that suffering. You're departing from the closed door, if you will, because you are opening up to this new beginning. This is about acceptance. When it's showing up as the light, you've accepted a situation here that was really, really hard to accept. I mean, I'll give you that. it's very, very challenging to say, okay, I accept that this is how it's going to be, because we want things to sometimes be the way we want them. We don't always know how to surrender to the divine plan, especially when control is a big factor. And this is about humility, relief, and reverence for change. Reflect on dead ends in your past that led to unimaginable wonders. That's your soul work, Virgo. I really want you to think of that here for a moment. The moment you accept the ending, a feeling of grace will arise. Doors begin to open, both inside you and in the world. Note that in most stories and movies, the moment the protagonist reaches the dead end, something riveting happens. Virgo, you are the protagonist. So there's something huge, magical. I'm actually going to pull a few cards here for this beginning and the departure. I mean, endings and beginnings. There's something taking off here. I mean, you could even be listening to this reading while you're on a plane or while you're packing up or in the midst of some sort of shift coming in. But if you want to go deeper, listen to Kenny Rogers, The Gambler. That's such a great song. And then Donny Hathaway's Giving Up. Those could get you in the mood. They may inspire you. So again, Kenny Rogers, The Gambler, and Donny Hathaway's Giving Up. The end you face is very much a beginning. So you know the saying, when some other beginning, or now I'm going to butcher it, comes from some other beginning's end. Okay. I'm going to clarify here, Spirit. What is this departure? What do we need to know about this goodbye? Let's just clarify. What do we need to know about the goodbye? King of Wands. The King of Wands here is marching to the beat of your own drum. This goodbye is actually going to empower you. You may not see it yet. I feel like you're getting a taste of it though, because the roots, they've already started to grow. They've already started to take place, to bubble up. Some of you already got the call back for the new job, or you got the yes for the home, or you've met your new person. Okay, I feel like there is a generous offer coming in here for you. The King of Wands is someone who is very active, very passionate, very goal-oriented and driven. He can be the entrepreneur. So for some of you, you have an entrepreneurial spirit where you are growing, you are thriving. You are really being able to express yourself in a way that feels warm, that feels, adventurous. And he's also a traveler. Okay, so some of you are definitely on that journey here where, you could even be in the travel industry, maybe even real estate. You may be bringing community together in some way. All right, let's take a little bit of a sneak peek at this Ace of Pentacles before we close down your reading. Spirit, please tell me about the seeds that have been planted. What does Virgo need to know? The Three of Wands. You're manifesting a dream. The Three of Wands is the card here, or the energy of manifestation, anticipation, and also planning. So you've been planning, just like the timing card says. And this is about, success. Success is but a move away. And literally the Six of Swords is you making a move. So whatever this action step is for you, let's see, what is this action step? Now I want to know, because you are excited. There's notable growth. What's the action step? Six of Coins. So you're getting confirmation, and look at, you have the Sun as well. Two cards that we've already seen show up. Six of Coins. This is giving back in return, right? I scratch your back, you scratch mine. I help you out, you help me. There's compensation, there's balance, there's flow of energy here. The full moon in May could be very significant. Now, I'm not quite sure when that full moon lands in May, but I have it all in my newsletter. And then we have the Sun confirming, and we have it showing up twice. This really does warm your heart. It really does make you happy. So the steps that you are taking here have to do with perhaps a gift or a donation, maybe even a grant, a scholarship, a loan. It could be charitable contributions. It's some sort of exchange here, but I also feel boundaries. There's something here with boundaries. This is my dance space. This is yours, and you're not going to let people steal your joy. Yeah, you're not going to, wow, you're not going to let them steal your joy here, because that may have been partly what happened in the past, or at least an experience that you'd gone through. Took a little bit of joy or fun out of it. All right, that is what I have for you. Virgo, a lot happening for you in the month of May, but if you've gone through setbacks and challenges and struggles, just know that you're coming out of it a refreshed version of you. And that 3 of Wands tells me that you are stepping closer and closer into that sunlight. All right. So keep leaning into that. Try not to get lost in the planning. Try not to hesitate here, because we tend to hesitate because we're not quite sure. Did we make the right choice? Is this the right path forward? Trust your intuition here, because your wanderlust is calling. That gypsy soul is telling you, step outside of your comfort zone. Try something you've never tried before. Don't limit yourself, because some of you are saying, well, what if I fall, right? But darling, what if you fly? And that's what we see on the Liberation card. We see the phoenix wings, right? And there's the heart right in the center. Liberate yourself. All right, Virgo, that is what I have for you. Thank you so much for tuning in today, and happy May.